to $6,313. So that's $6,313 per student that Mason City will get from state aid and property taxes. These are my notes that I wrote down today, this morning, Thursday, speaking with Lisa Oakley in Des Moines. So in addition to, so what we've got here is 3,751.1 students is what this is based on. That's the enrollment in the Mason City School District. That's what they're going to base our funding on. And she says that our estimated revenue for the 2014 fiscal year is $49 million. And we would be bringing forward a balance of $27 million, which gives us a grand total of $76 million that our school district here in Mason City has at its disposal at this time, minus $67 million budget. This is all numbers from Lisa Oakley that I wrote down that she will back up, and which means that after the school year, we would still be bringing forward an $8.8 million balance forward. She also indicated that the total debt for the Mason City School District is not the $36 million and change number that we reported some weeks ago. That was a piece of paper that Ramona Jeffrey had written down, a figure that she had written on a piece of paper and given to Jack here. Actually, that number, according to Lisa Oakley in Des Moines, is $54.935 million in total long-term debt schedule. The total of all the debts. She told me that it was $54.935 million, not the $36 million that Ramona told Jack. And so, you know, the reason for all this is we just can't get a straight answer out of anybody. So we had to turn to Des Moines because our own school district is not being forthcoming with information. We have asked in a friendly way time and time again for information such as the salaries, $24 million in salaries. We had to find it on the back page of the Globe, buried in their classifieds, you know, before. She refused to give that to North Iowa Today, despite me asking numerous times. Maybe the school district isn't in such bad shape after all if we're going to carry over $8.8 million after the school year, and the debt's much higher than we thought. But after the 2% allowable growth this year for 14, in 2015 we jump all the way to 4%, and as it stands at this moment, the Mason City School District would take in $6,438 per pupil in the 2015 fiscal year. So that's another jump up per student. And then lastly, this was news to me today, Lisa Oakley informed me that there's millions of dollars per year in federal dollars that the school districts bring in additional funding to supplement the state aid and local property tax revenues. So that's something that I had no idea, that the federal government was chipping in such a large amount. What do you say to this, Jack?
I would say that the school board, if they're connected with Ramona and they have to know what's going on, is telling a big phony BS. I just couldn't believe that when I looked at some of that stuff, she couldn't give it to me unless Anita approved it. Well, that isn't what I call a public record. And I can give you another example of how you don't get an answer. I've been pushing free driver's training ever since Anita come to town, because I think a kid going to college or leaving to get a good paying job needs a driver's license. And she says, Jack, don't worry about it. If a kid is really poor, the school district will pay for his driver's training. So at a meeting of the school board, I asked her to write me a letter telling me exactly how many kids are getting this free driver's training. And I have never got an answer from her, because I believe they're probably not paying for one kid. And in Mason City, if I got the figures right from the school, 51% of the kids are getting a free meal or a cut rate meal. and there's got to be 1 or 2 kids in that poor category that should be getting free driver's training. I just can't believe they aren't telling the people the truth. And if you say what you really think, there's people, oh, my kid isn't getting a good education because of you. Well, how many millions do they need to spend?
Well,
your kid isn't going to
yeah.
get any better education. And the reason why 97% of the school districts have that levy is once it passes, it never goes away, because they'll tell you the school system will collapse if you don't renew it for another 5-10 years. We just can't get along with that levy without it. And besides that, I can't remember what year the Mason City school teachers went without a pay raise. Maybe they're entitled to a raise every year. But if they're as hard up for money with a $24 million payroll out in Las Vegas, my granddaughter and my daughter both teach in that school district, they got a little hard up for money. They cut everybody's salary that works for the school system 7% and had no problem doing it. Not one teacher left the area. There ain't a shortage of teachers in the United States. There's a surplus of teachers.
Well, Jack, no one begrudges anyone a good living, but yet at the same time, the taxpayers, the people of Mason City, deserve to know the truth so they can make an informed decision. And this secrecy that I'm beginning to perceive on South Penn there is disturbing, and it's just too bad that we can't get these answers by walking in the office and sitting down with someone for 20 minutes. You know, we've got to call Des Moines, you know, to find out the truth. So anyway, Jack, you got one more thing
I
here?
got one more thing to say. You Catholics that live in Mason City, God damn it, help the poor and the elderly, including your religion that pays property tax in this town, to defeat those 2 levies.
Thanks, Jack.